I'm not a big fan of the expression get out of your comfort zone. It's not a meaningful act of thoughtful expression that's tailored to your interlocutor. Instead, it's more of a conditioned verbal reflex, like saying bless you when someone sneezes. On top of not being very insightful, it's also quite unhelpful. In this video, I will explain why I think it sucks and what we can use instead to express similar ideas. I'd just like to make sure to clarify that I'm a big fan of personal development. Working on yourself, personal growth, and improving your life are big topics on this channel, and they're also a big motivation for why I do these videos in the first place. Having to put out a video every week pushes me to be more confident and also articulate. So I'm not saying that going out of your comfort zone is a bad thing and that you shouldn't do it. I'm instead saying that the statement, get out of your comfort zone, is worthless. So let's go into why I think it sucks. First of all, it doesn't take into account any specific objective or reason to get out of your comfort zone. It's like saying get stabbed by a scalpel instead of telling someone to go get a heart surgery. It conflates a means with an end. It uses a means as if it was an end, but we don't know why you should do it, or it's aimless. On top of that, it's positively brimming with specificity. That is to say, it has absolutely none, and so we don't really know what it's supposed to mean. If you think about it long enough, I'm sure you can find plenty of examples where getting out of your comfort zone would not be the greatest idea. So, I can give you a couple of my own. I think that strutting proudly with a rainbow t-shirt that said with bold letter, gay Jew, inside of a Nazi rally would probably be out of most people's comfort zone. I'm not sure you should do it. I think it's probably a bad idea. Sending unsolicited nude pics to your boss, probably also outside your comfort zone. What about punching a police officer in the nose? Or maybe driving on the opposite direction of a highway lane. So I think we could probably agree that it's asinine to indiscriminately go outside of your comfort zone. On a broader level, it kind of falls into this general mindset that's pretty prevalent in society of like kind of this fetishizing of suffering. It's good to suffer. It's good when you're like, oh, when things are like max adversity and like pushing yourself and just like, oh, really having a bad time. That's great. That's heroic. That's so good. It's like there's a whole narrative with the gym and all, and it's good to feel the pain, rip and tear until you get shredded. There's kind of general, aesthetic of being a glutton for punishment. I'm not sure where it comes from. I don't know if it's like tied to Christianity and the kind of tendency to, like martyr and self-flagellation. But personally, it doesn't really appeal to me at all. I don't like, I mean, if you need to suffer to do something worthwhile and valuable, sure. But I don't think that suffering in and of itself is a good thing and a noble thing. If you can avoid useless suffering, I think it's probably a good idea. If you've got a way to achieve the same goal, either with suffering or with no suffering, I'd say it's probably better to do it without suffering. So the whole framing behind get out of your comfort zone is pretty patronizing. It's not very inspiring and it's not compassionate. I'm aware that different people have different styles of motivation. So maybe some people get motivated, by getting humiliated, trash talked, and pushed and bullied. Personally, that's not my case. Not my favorite mode of getting motivated. Previously, I said that it's unhelpful. I think it's also pretty invalidating, as we just covered, and I'd like to expand a little bit on why that is. As we said, it doesn't take into account your end goals. So, it's not really telling you, like, in order to get where you want to go or in order to achieve something important for you, you probably will have to get out of your comfort zone. You will have to do some stuff that you don't feel like doing, but that's necessary. There's no contextualization of why it's important or why it's meaningful or why you need to do it. It also doesn't take into account at all why it might be difficult, why you struggle with doing it. It doesn't help you make any progress. It's just kind of a reminder of like, you got to suffer in order to get where you want to be, which like everybody already knows, like it's not like you're teaching someone anything new by saying that. Now, I mean, sure, we need frequent reminders of simple truths, but I'm not sure this one is super helpful or valuable. I'm pretty sure that most people are aware that in order to get better and to grow more confident in areas where they aren't, is going to take some courage and some discomfort. All right, so if get out of your comfort zone is not that great and we probably should switch to something else, what should we switch to? Several years ago, I went to a talk by a guy named Oussama Ammar, who is like a famous French entrepreneur. He talked about various things. But at some point, he mentioned this expression, get out of your comfort zone. And he said that he too disliked it. So we agreed on that point. And he said that a better way of framing it, of thinking about it, is expanding your comfort zone. The idea is you're not just going out of your comfort zone willy-nilly so you can suffer. The idea is there's some stuff you want to do, you want to be able to do. So maybe, content creation, like publishing videos. Maybe it's like talking to specific people. Maybe it's doing public speaking. I mean, it could be a lot of different things. I'm thinking mostly about YouTube-related things because that's what is on my mind right now. But you want to be able to do a specific thing, but right now you don't feel comfortable doing it. You don't have that much confidence or experience, and so in order to get there, you kind of need to push out of where you feel comfortable. But the end goal is to expand your comfort zone so that it includes this new activity you want to do. And then at that point, you're not suffering anymore because it just become a routine thing. Like when you were a baby, walking was outside your comfort zone. Now it's within your comfort zone. You've expanded it. You didn't just like go outside so you could suffer. So that's already a better way to think about this. In general, when you're kind of offering this type of advice, I think it's good to take into account the specific situation, right? So what is a person trying to do? Also, is it something they're actually trying to do? Because sometimes people are very comfortable pushing their personal objectives and, things they think are important or good onto other people. But, if they don't share your opinion, then it's not very helpful. Like nobody cares. So do they actually want to achieve a specific objective? And does it actually require getting out of their comfort zone? In which case, you can probably say something a bit more specific that takes into account who they are, how it's hard for them to do what they should be doing, and the specific goals they have in mind. If you want some simple one-liners, if someone is procrastinating on taking action, you could say something like, in order to achieve this thing you care about, the only way is through some amount of courage and taking action in spite of feeling some discomfort and some negative feelings and emotions. But it's important, it's the only way you can move forward, and with practice it'll get easier. Alternatively, if the person you're talking to is in the middle of doing an uncomfortable activity and you're kind of encouraging them to pursue, to keep going, maybe they're complaining or it's a bit hard, you can say something like, keep going, it's scary, but you're doing the right thing. I mean, that's very generic, but we're using generic sentences, and I don't know your specific situation. But in a nutshell, be specific, try to take into account who you're speaking to, and and be clear also on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to encourage them? Then maybe try to do something that has better odds of actually resonating with them. And if you're trying to inspire them to action, then a better, more in-depth explanation that's a little bit more empathetic to what they're going through will probably work better. So that was my take for today. Please stop saying get out of your comfort zone on the behalf of every other person like me who is irked when you use this expression. Thanks for watching.